So over on this flank, the hero has called forth the brigade of cavalry and marauder cav. Over here, the wizard has pushed forward. Behind him, the hounds failed their order and just staggered forward one order. The dragon ogre's got to move in. The general's out front on his dragon because we're playing King is Dead rules and the scenario where you get double points for units killed by your general. So he's out there on his dragon leading that brigade forward. The harpies lurking at the back. And over here I've got another hero who's pulled forward a brigade of chariots and marauder horse.
We have some very reluctant harpies there on their warhawks. They didn't want to move. Then we have some Cold One Knights who also didn't want to move. And then we have a general who was barely willing to boogie. And then we have the first of my infantry detachments, 2 crossbows, 2 spears. Got a lovely little hero there. Some bolt throwers that move incredibly slowly, and it's dangerous, honestly, how slow they are. Another block of 4 infantry. These way watchers count as crossbowmen, and then you've got spear troops behind them. More Cold One Knights, who did move as they were told. Good point, there's also a War Hydra who was doing nothing. There's Cold One Knights, there's a hero and a Cold One, and there's a lot of Dark Riders who went forth valiantly to shoot at the Chaos Knights and didn't even disconnect the one unit they scored hits against from the others within 15 centimetres. That's going to be one hell of a problem next turn. And finally, yes, it's our favourite sacrificial wizard, the guy who didn't do a Doom Bomb. What have we learned? We need a Ring of Power.
A less than stellar turn for the forces of chaos. Over here, the general joined in with a unit who managed to wipe out a couple of units of Dark Riders at a cost of a stand of knights there. The dragon ogres attempted to come charging in on the tempting flank of these cold ones, but fluffed it up and are now in a somewhat vulnerable position. Back here, the general and wizard between them failed to move either the dogs or the big block of chaos warriors forward. And over here, the harpies got in the way, so the hero tried to move them out of the way before launching the
They were put
chariots.
in the way. They were put in the way.
Put in the way. And at that point, he failed that order, so they didn't really get out of the way, and this flank stalled.
The War Hydra is very expensive and also very immobile. The bolt throwers, half as expensive, kind of useful. They got a hit on some dragon ogres. Really though, these dragon ogres that got pushed back into the woods and confused were thwarted by my Waywatcher crossbowmen, who did shed loads of hits. Well done, lads. Pat, pat, pat. These guys didn't, so we can move past them. Over here, the general led 2 units of Cold One Knights into destroying 4 Chaos Chariots and flanking the remaining bases on either side, breaking up the brigade. Fantastic work.
And took out some
took
out some harpies while you were at it.
Yep. And took out some harpies that I didn't even notice in the stab forwards. Fair point. I just wanted to thank this guy here, MVP, for not ordering his troops forwards. And then over here, we had a leader, a hero, killed, and 5 out of 6 bases of Cold War Knights who charged annihilated by the terror that is chaos.
So over on this flank, we managed to wrap up the last of the cold ones. However, over here, the dragon eggers remained confused. The dogs largely failed to move. The wizard forgot to use his rod, which would have got his power, which would have got his spell off. So he's just standing there.
The euphemism.
The marauders have gone here, ready to take a load of crossbow in the face. Over here, warriors killed a stand of harpies, but just a stand. These ones wiped out or joined in, trying to kill off some cold ones and protect the chariots, but weren't able to follow up. So they're now facing the harpies. However, sadly, cold ones and a general are about to charge them in the rear. Not looking good for chaos.
War Hydra declined to be summoned, leading to the complete stasis of every fucking thing. There we go. That's the end of that. The Dragon Ogres were shot at again. One less Dragon Ogre now. The remainder are still confused because of trees. The Warhawks teamed up with 2 sets of lizard men to annihilate a unit of Chaos Warriors in what was fundamentally unfair. And then everyone broke up their separate ways, didn't get the band back together.
So over here, the warriors charged but failed to deal with the harpies, and then fell back to join up with the marauders, who formed a brigade there out of shooting range but about to get cold ones all up inside their grill, I suspect. The dogs didn't get to move because I had to do the general first, and over here the general sent in a charge. Just himself and a unit of knights killed a unit of crossbows and a unit of spearmen, and has now fallen back. So pulled it back slightly. The Dark Elves are now at 7 units down, but we're only a couple of units away from our breakpoint too.
So, over here, the general charged with his trusty lizard cavalry. The untrusty lizard cavalry were left to evade, but the trusty lizard cavalry and the flyers went in against the Chaos Warriors to get some lovely flank action on those guys. The right-hand brigade advanced into the dragon ogres and proceeded to mercilessly destroy them with crossbow bolts. The remainder of the left-hand brigade that had been savaged by the general and his dragon opened fire, killing half of his unit of cavalry, and not him, but still pushed back. He got pushed back 18 centimetres. There were no sixes. It was a travesty of justice. And then a war hydra ate an entire unit of knights and moved into the flank of some marauders. Nom 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 nom.
Which took me to breakpoint.
Yeah.
And victory to the Dark Elves.
Yeah, 1.5 units in it.